To start the look, I'm dipping into the shade Serenity and applying that on the outer corner, following the slope of my lower lash line upwards. Just gently tapping that on to have a concentration of the color. And then I'm going to turn the brush and start bringing it inwards above the natural crease line, following the natural curve of my eye, dipping into a little bit more shadow, again just swiping and packing the color on. This will allow the color to be most concentrated in this area, and then I'm going to go back in and blend the edges afterwards. So again, I'm just working my way towards the inner corner, concentrating the color on, just being very slow and controlling the shadow placement. So I'm just dragging it inwards a little bit, dipping into more color as needed, using the flat side of the brush to make this line thin. Once I have a concentration of the color, I'm going to go on the edges of what we just applied and use little circular motions to start blending out the edges. You want it to fade out on the upper edge. So I'm just using little swiping motions to fade it out. We want to create that soft blend, following the natural curve of my crease line, and then doing the same thing in the outer corner, but being a little bit more gentle to not bring the shadow too far downwards. You can go back in and apply a little bit more purple if you blended it out too much. That's what I'm doing here, just making sure I have that color concentrated in the crease area. Applying a little bit more on the outer corner and then dragging it upwards. Next, I'm going to be adding depth with this gray color in a smaller brush. Again, swiping on the color into the crease, applying it where I'd like it, and then I'm going to go back in and blend the edges. So I'm applying it below the purple and into the crease, using little tapping and swiping motions, dipping into the color as needed, just following the natural curves of my eye, bringing it all the way to the inner corner. Once I've brought it out to the corner of that sideways V, I'm going to bring it downwards towards the lash line. You want to make sure you have a little bit of that light purple peeking through behind the gray. Once you have a nice concentration of the color, I'm going to go in with that same brush and start using little swiping and circular motions on the edges to blend it into that purple. You want to have a soft blend between the two shades. You want it to look like the dark purple is fading into that light purple shade. So starting in the inner corner, just using little swirling motions, taking my time. You want to make sure you don't bring it up too high, since this color is darker, it could easily overwhelm the light purple. Blending that out. Bringing it all the way to the outer corner and being sure to keep that sideways V shape. You can go back in with a little bit of that light purple if you do lose it. Next, with this grayish shimmering color, I'm applying it to the outer half of my lid using little swiping motions. You can wipe away any fallout with a big brush, but I'm just bringing it up to that crease line and then softly buffing it into the deep purple gray shade that we just applied. I'm bringing it up to that purple shade that we just applied, using little feathering motions on the edges. I'm going to go back in with a little bit more gray afterwards to clean it up, but then dragging it in towards the center of the eye. Having a smooth application of this color all the way to the lash line. Next, I'm dipping back into that gray shade that we put in the crease and just darkening the crease once again in the outer corner. With this lighter shimmer, I'm applying it to the front portion of the lid and dragging it a little bit over the crease shade, and then feathering it into the darker shimmer, bringing it all the way to the inner corner, upwards, and towards the outer corner. With this light shimmering color, I'm applying it to the inner corner and feathering it inwards and a little bit onto the lower portion of the eye, as well as that shade on the front of the lid. Just want a smooth blend on all the edges. With this pinkish shade, I'm applying it to the lower lash line, first concentrating the color, and then I'm just going to blend out the edges. You want to keep this tight to the lash line and then have a blended out bottom edge on this, using little swiping motions, feathering it out. With this sparkling shade, I'm adding it to the front of the crease and then feathering out the edges with that first brush we used to apply the purple. Just buffing that edge. Next, with this flat brush and a deep purple, I'm applying that to my lash line. Just concentrating the color as tight as I can to the lash line, packing it on using little swiping motions, bringing it all the way into the inner corner. Feathering out the edge so we don't have any harsh lines. I want everything to be very smoky. Once I've applied that, I'm going in with our crease brush and applying it into the outer corner, using a little bit more of that dark purple to create a deeper V shape in the outer corner. After this, I'm adding a little bit more of that deep purple into the inner corner. I'm applying mascara. This first look is with no lashes, and this is with lashes. I hope you enjoyed the look. Be sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to be notified of the next time I post. Thank you for watching. Bye!